Okay, so I'm going to kick off. So good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on South Africa at 11 o'clock for those who are from this neck of the woods. And yeah, thanks for joining another. This is now our third session around the exploration of digitizing assessment. Um, and today's discussion is around the learners and the digital assessments. The previous sessions were around the alignment matrices and alignment to professional bodies and the South African governing bodies, QCTO, and the different SETAs. So just as before I kick off, a few things. There is the chat room. Please feel free to introduce yourself. We this is very much a learning and learning and growing scenario. It's from our learnings in dealing with the assessment of learning, and that's what these sessions are about. So please feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'm not going to monitor the chat. As usual, there are specific points in this presentation that I get to where I'll ask Balingile, who's helping me host, just to let me know if there are any questions, and I'll pick up on those questions at the appropriate times in the discussion. So that way I'm not going to distract myself, because I do chase squirrels, quite a lot of them, and there's a lot of them always in this space. So very much the purpose of these sessions is as we're growing in the concept of assessment of learning, and digitizing assessment, and what is assessment of learning, and how does it work, and how is it different from e-learning, and we're really starting to see this emergence of companies grappling with, well, we've just learned about e-learning. God, now they have assessment, and what does that mean, and how does that work, and what are assessors' roles, and what are the learners' roles, and so these sessions that we do a month on month, we're really just working through our experience around the e-assessment, e-portfolio process experience, the ecosystem around that, and then it's to also, as we engage with you, is to go, well, what else is bugging you? What else is really just can't get your head around, or can get your head around? And oh my gosh, this is, we'd like to know more about that. So very focused purely on the assessment side, not the content delivery side. I think people have that waxed. And yeah, we're going to continue to keep growing in the industry, growing the industry with, all of you who attend, and all your perspectives and all your ideas. So thanks for coming. Questions. This is being recorded, and I see some of you have your AI bots in here, which is great. At the end of the session now, we will again load the recording onto our YouTube channel, and we will do two polls at the end. The one poll being how did you like the session, and the other poll just what our process is, and that we map is at the end of these sessions we do send out an email to everyone who attended the session to thank them, give them the link to the session, as well as the PDF version of the PowerPoint that we'll get now. And then also we ask you for your requests. So what we've done is we have a list of potential topics to discuss based on previous feedback and our clients and the learners of the clients. So what we'll do is we'll kind of put the top 3 in that list in that email if you're open to it, and then you can say, no, I don't want any of those 3, I want this one. That email runs for a week. We also push it out on LinkedIn, and based on what you request is what we build next month's session around. And then we'll send you another email at the end of next week telling you what the topic for the next month is, and the registration link back onto LinkedIn again. So it's just this light communication, but just keeping you in the loop of what's going on. Okay, so I'll remind you that later. I'm going to dive in. Welcome. We are talking about learners and how to digitize the assessment, or learners and their perspective of digital assessment. So the thing about digital assessment, and your learners is, one, your learners need direction. They need to know where they're going, what they need to achieve. They need feedback, and lots of it. And especially in this world in which we play today, we have a very we have a very busy world. Everybody is looking for everybody's eyeballs. And if you want your learners to if you want your learners to continue their journey with you and basically follow you till the end, then you need to give them feedback. And feedback can now be digital. It doesn't have to be posted or emailed, because emails also get get junk mailed. The learners need to have the opportunity for correction, further feedback, and then celebration. So if we can get that right on your journey map, especially focusing on the assessment side, because on the learning side it's more comfortable, you get a lot more experience and a better uptake from your learners. Okay, so let's bust a myth. Myth one: learners won't use digital. Learners don't like digital. Learners don't want to use digital. Learners can't build e-portfolios. Learners don't know how. Learners are the problem. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Or fortunately, due to social media, platforms like TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and WhatsApp, and our learners are quite technologically savvy. And I find a lot of training providers or people who say learners don't want to, they're missing a step on the process, which is digital onboarding. So I'm going to play you this video. This is one learner of one of our clients at the waterfront, who have used P4P, and this is what they have said. There's some good learning to take place from here.
Hi, my name is Aleta Klatu. I'm 24 years old. I'm from Fulham.
Tell me about your experience of P4P, the e-assessment, e-portfolio platform.
On the first day, I was struggling with because I was not used on a computer. But then when time goes by, I gain experience on a computer screen. So, and I never knew how to convert a picture to PDF, but now I gained that experience.
Thank you. Okay, so learners are keen to learn. Learners are keen to use digital. Learners are keen to convert digital into their portfolios. So this is a busted myth, and you'll see a few more videos going on. I think what's very important to pick up here was where the learner said it was difficult in the beginning. And that's very important, and I'll speak more into that as we go. So learners want to use digital, and they want to build digital e-portfolios. They actually find a sense of achievement in it.
Hi.
Okay, so let's have a look as we go from novice to master. What does it mean? So the levels of your learners. You have and I'm talking about their tech level here. So you have your novice learner. Your novice learner, when they have to build a portfolio of any kind, when they come on training, they are super nervous and they need lots of hand holding. So between your training sessions, your modules, or between your competency assessment, or between your designation assessments, or your occupation assessments, the learners need to be supported, and their support is all around using the digital platform. The number one starting point is before your training starts, have 1 day digital onboarding session. Have an onboarding session, and generally have 1 day or half a day per platform. So if you are doing an e-learning platform and an e-portfolio platform, which are quite different in their scenarios, and there's lots of talking done around the differences between them, then you want a morning around e-learning, and then you want an afternoon around the e-portfolio side. And I'll kind of go through what you kind of want to concept you want to use, and how you want to build that. You've then got your journeyman, which so these names aren't real. They're just based off gamifications and growth, but it's a growth journey. So your journeyman is someone who is experienced technologically. They have so that girl before would be a novice. She's had no kind of experience around building portfolios, digital building. She's on WhatsApp. We know that she is because she sent a video of herself for the interview. So your journeyman has a bit more experience, but they're also nervous. So they also need hand holding. And this is what your administration team should be doing. Maybe a contact center that you would then work with, or a provider that offers an engagement, a service with the software. They do need hold handling, not as much. And they would probably, for, you're kind of looking at 2 hours or half a day for a digital onboarding. If you're using two platforms, about 2 hours each. That's quite important. This has to happen prior to your training if you want the success of using the platforms. There is no training that takes place at this point. It's all about the onboarding into how the platforms are going to work. You have a master, they're not nervous. They are just not sure. Like, I know I should be able to do this. They just need some holding, like space. So space holding, 2 to 4 hours of digital onboarding, which should be fine. And then you would have your craftsman or your supermaster. They are very sure what they're doing. They just need some ongoing support, like any platform. If you don't use it often, you forget. It's not that the platform is not good. It's not that they don't get it. It's just, if you look at your phone, you probably have 60 apps on your phone and you probably use 4 of them, maybe 6. So how to use this app again? And as intuitive as they are, we're building e-portfolios. So we're not asking someone to give a message on WhatsApp and then give a message on FaceTime. We're not asking them to log into Teams and then Zoom. We're asking them to build portfolios in some kind of a methodology, like through videos or through audio or handwritten. And like she said, converting images to PDFs. There's a lot of new neural pathways that are being formed. So that's what these digital onboarding sessions are, very, very important. So in terms of your learners, those are kind of levels you can play with. Don't assume because they are a level 6 learner that they are a craftsman in technology. And don't assume because they are a level 1 learner that they are a novice in technology. This is the kind of stuff you can pick up as you go. Right? If you look at the assessment types, so you have typically a no-tech, a no-tech portfolio being built, or no-tech engagement, learners from engagement. And if your learners are no-tech, I think to assume or to expect them to log on via tech becomes a little bit, you're setting yourself up for a lot of difficulty. But at the same time, there's no reason why your assessors or your facilitators can't be using tech for no tech. So this is typically your no classroom, very little writing, even learning takes place in the workplace. A good evidence collector would help the learning here. So you can start matching these no tech and novice learners, and what do you do around that? You then have a low tech environment, which is a classroom, a lot of handwritten, a lot of simulations. You're at this place, you've got your learners, facilitators, and evidence collectors helping. And it's very important that as you digitize assessment, just because your learner doesn't know how to use it at the onset, with a good digital onboarding, they can still handwrite text if you want them to. And they can learn how to get that into the e-portfolio folder. Helps a lot with formative and summative assessments. So your facilitator can focus on facilitating and your assessor can focus on assessing. But ultimately, your learners are getting feedback, immediate feedback, consistent feedback, and that keeps them very interested in the process. When it comes to designations, which happen kind of year on year or every 2 years, there's got to be a place where, well, it doesn't got to be. It's good to have a place where where the person wanting the designation can get feedback periodically, once every 6 months, once every 3 months, on, well done for submitting that evidence. You're on your way. The learners are looking for this, especially because on the platforms they get feedback all the time. They get pop-up messages and little ones in red next to the you've got message, you got they're used to the feedback. So that's what they're looking for. And if you explain it at the digital onboarding side, how your feedback works, you have a deeper connection with the learner, and they will ultimately engage better. We saw this on this one program we did. We had 50 learners over it was 1 month period, 50 learners. We had like a 97.5% attendance on time after breaks. We're kind of checking time back from break, time that you arrive at work. And then also we had only like 2 out of 50 drop off for strange reasons. But again, it's all about this feedback, continued feedback on what's going on. And it wasn't us, it was our client. So they were just using kind of the platform. You've then got a hybrid model, which is both classroom and e-learning and the workplace. And this is where assessment takes place as well. So assessments are taking place in the classroom, which are easy because you just someone hand out a test and on e-learning, great, they do a true, false, yes, no, match the dots and all that kind of stuff. But in that, it's missing the skill side or the workplace side. And this is where the learner, the assessor, and the evidence collector are the 3 roles engaged at this point to help them demonstrate their skill, and the learners want to demonstrate it. So, with the firefighters, one of their requirements is that the firefighter has to be, they can't be claustrophobic. And so they have an assessment. Go put on your firefighter suit and go climb in a 1 by 1 meter hole and go stay there for 3 minutes and prove to us that you're not claustrophobic. Ask anybody on a piece of paper, are you claustrophobic? No, I'm not claustrophobic. No, it's all good. Ask someone to put their phone up and video themselves for 3 minutes in a claustrophobic environment, and you get a very different view. Again, the learners are keen to play. They're keen to get involved, but they need the support of the assessors, evidence collectors, and facilitators. So you have a hybrid model. And then, of course, you have your high tech, which is purely virtual classrooms, e-learning, workspaces, digital workspaces. So pretty much your learner and your evidence collector get involved quite a lot there. And your evidence collector could be also your assessor. I mean, these roles are interchangeable often. So bearing in mind, you've got your novice, journeyman, master, and your craftsman, conceptually 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are the type of assessment, the digital assessment spaces. So just because it's a no-tech environment doesn't mean you can't use digital for assessment. Those learners might not need to get onto digital to be assessed, but you can streamline the processes. All right. So, all right. I'm just going to check if there are any questions. Bali, are you still here? I think that's called Bali drop off.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Are there any questions that I need to be seeing?
It's just Mark. He was asking where's Darth because there's always a Darth.
Mark, I'm coming to Darth Vader now. You'll see who I'm talking about. Okay, so let's have a look. Why do learners go digital? All right, myth 2. Learners can't create digital portfolios. Yeah, no, they can and they do. So it's tricky at first, but then it becomes easy. Help them build the digital muscle and they will surprise you. So again, if you just expect a learner to be able to use your e-learning platform or your e-assessment platform or just be able to use digital, bam, yeah, good luck with that. And that's where all the complaints, it doesn't work, there's not enough bandwidth, problem is because the mindset is the learner's not smart enough. No, we just not interested. It takes too much time. Yeah. Okay. Just go do a measure of your costs. Go do a cost benefit analysis, and you'll probably find that one day that you do digital onboarding, the costs of that far outweigh the costs of the e-portfolios of being posted back and forward, admin time. On a good we experience this in our e-portfolio platform that we'll save our clients anywhere between 10 and 45 minutes per learner per year when they do digital, when they go digital. So let's use the 10 mark, 10 learners a year. If you're doing 500 learners and we're saving you 10 minutes, you're saving yourself 5,000 minutes of time in a year. I don't even know where to start doing those hours. 100 hours. That's almost a month of time, because learners want to go digital and they want to build digital portfolios because that's the world they live in. So have a listen to this.
Hello guys, my name is Anna and my surname goes with Ntio, and I'm from the community of All Crossroads in Nyanga. And this journey on the P4P journey, which is the Harami project, has been quite a fantastic journey.
What was your experience of P4P, the e-assessment? e-portfolio platform? What was your experience?
My experience with the program whereby we have to upload, I learned new things of having to take a picture to a PDF and upload it. And the system was kind of tricky at first, but as time goes by and the facilitators that we get from Harambe can do their job and set you higher from where you're supposed to do. And that's all. Thank you.
All right. So it is a busted myth. Again, you're hearing the trend coming through where he goes, it was difficult at first, but with the support of, I built my muscle. These learners are now in the workplace. They're actually, working. It was off the end of this project, and what they're doing is they're now using their mobile devices to access e-learning. In the workplace when they need stuff. And they're also wanting to kind of video themselves serving customers, and there's an incredible kind of community growing between them. Okay, so learners are keen on digital. They're just a little bit afraid, and they need support from the providers.
Hello, guys.
Oops. All right. So why do learners want this? Because they want a job, because they want a better job, because they want work, because they want more work, because they want hope. Now, it's very interesting in that, when a recruitment agent puts out an ad, they get like 10,000 CVs. What the shift at the moment is in the world is around this thing called a gig economy. And the gig economy is it's like, how good is a restaurant? Is that good as the last plate of food that they served? How good is a cup of coffee? How good is how good is anything you do? How good is your project? It's as good as the last project that you did. How good is your assessment? As good as the last one that I did. It's this evolving world. Now, what's also evolving is this thing of qualifications, short courses, and those micro programs. I'll come to you in a moment. But you've also got competencies and occupations. And occupations are like a macro credential, and competencies are like micro credentials in essence. And learners want to use their e-portfolios in order to prove their competence when they go for an interview. Because everybody arrives with the same CV, promising the same amount of work, the same amount of experience. We've even got these psychometric assessments, great, that show a good job fit. But it can't prove that you can do the job. So what's emerging is learners are asking more, and even the SETAs in South Africa are asking more. They're going, why are we funding training? Because we funded, look, there's between 3 and 4 million learnerships registered every year. If we do over the past 10 years, that's 30 to 40 million learners who've completed learnerships. And let's say 50% of them complete 20 million. And yet 20 million people don't have work. And, and the question is emerging, well, why are these people on training if they're ending with a qualification, but they can't get work? Why is that? And so there's very little proof of ability. And this is what businesses are asking for, because the business's client wants productivity. So these learners are looking for the guidance of training for content, but they're also looking to go digital so that they can prove their applied skill. And when they go apply for a job, they go, well, here's my portfolio, and here's the person who assessed me, and this person who assessed me knows what they're doing. Have a listen to what this learner says here.
Good morning. My name is Mbali Memeza, and I'm from Kailicha in Bongweni.
What did you think of P4P, the e-portfolio e-assessment platform?
I didn't know anything about the computer, and the P4P, it also helps you because you can put it on your CV so that when you're going to get employed, they can assess it and see the process that you've been through, like the qualifications, all that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so what's and there's over 50 of these little videos. I'll show you another one later, and we'll push them out as well. It's about the digitizing of the assessment process and digitizing of the portfolio. That's exciting the learners, and that's getting things going. So what also has emerged is once you have an e-portfolio defined, one portfolio can satisfy a qualification, a set of standards, a part qualification. One portfolio can satisfy an occupation, the demonstration against occupation or the OFO codes. One portfolio can also satisfy numerous competencies. So if you've designed your portfolio well and moved it into a digital space, now I am not advocating that you got to stop writing exams and you got to do things the way you do them, which is great. It's taking that and enabling that to be consumed in a digital format. So that can be then used further. That's where the movement or this whole process is going. Also, when you go digital, showing someone that you can smile at a customer is different to telling someone that you must smile at a customer. So these kind of new methodologies of portfolio builds, and they're not new. I mean, selfies are everywhere, right? People do hundreds and thousands of selfies. Just it's crazy. But these methodologies can be used for learners to really kind of position themselves in a job market, on Upwork, for gig work, for, even if they want to go entrepreneurship and they want to open their own companies, this kind of stuff becomes very, very valuable for the learner at the end. Okay. So off the back of that, I just want to check if there are any questions.
No questions.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. So we have the scenario where we've got learners are not interested in digital, busted. Learners don't want to build e-portfolios, busted. So if the learners aren't wanting to do it, you got to ask yourself the question, well, who is it that doesn't want to do it? And that's what we will explore. Agnes, if you can put your question into the chat room, please, because I see your hands up, and that way then I can get to the questions in a bit. I just want to finish this next process, and then I'll come back to your questions. So I don't want you to forget it. So if you just put it into the chat room, and then we can go from there, that'd be really awesome. All right. So what's the process? How to eat an elephant. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Okay. So myth 3, admins, assessors, internal moderators are all tech savvy and will all use technology. Okay, so that's not our experience. So learners are keen. They will do what you tell them. They are so excited to impress you. Learners wait for feedback. And learners are used to immediate feedback. And feedback is the breakfast of champions because feedback keeps your motivation going. However, if your admins, your administrators are not on board in using your digital technologies, and if your assessors are not keen to shift from their low-tech paper-based assessment to a digital assessment space, that will tell you, oh, I'm so keen. Oh, yeah, me. And then it comes down to the reality of, well, do it. When that happens, and we see this more often than I'd like to actually admit, with our clients, your learners start dropping off. So learners go, oh, we've done what we need to, but the assessor hasn't logged on, and the assessor is not keen, and the assessor is not giving feedback, and the assessor is not following the assessment plan as they should, because assessors and those roles are used to the scenario of going, hi, the admin picks up the phone. Have you done your assessment? Oh, yeah, no, I've done it. When do we get the files back? Oh, I'm going to post them. But, it's Friday and the weekend. I'll post them on Monday. But I really have done it. Can I have the results? Oh, I'm busy filling it out. And these kind of conversations go back and forward. And we did some research a while back, about 2 years ago, maybe 3, a time and motion study actually around this. How much time does it take for? And And it's quite interesting to find out what the costs really are. So when we talk to clients around the assessment process and we go, hey man, do you have a budget for assessment? No, we pay our assessors. And we go, do you know how much your assessment process is costing you? Yeah, we pay our assessors. There's a gap missing there. Learners are keen. They want to do it. They're amped from level 1 to level 6. They're keen. You've got to bring your assessors and your admins on the journey with you. And to assume that they know what's going on is, the mother of all mistakes. So let's have a listen to another learner's perspective.
Good day. Whoever's watching this, my name is Ikame. I am 19 years old.
What was your experience of P4P, the e-assessment, e-portfolio platform?
Oh, for me, it was quite easy because at first I thought it was going to be hard work. It was in the computer, but after you get used to it, it's quite easy to use, and you get a response from the assessors, and yeah, pretty much it's easy for me, like when you know the basics of it. So I quite enjoyed it.
Okay, so even this learner is telling you, we get the responses from the assessors, and often the assessors go, no, I dropped them an email. No, I didn't get the email. It went to my spam folder. It went to here. It went to there. All these different, discussions. So this is how you've got to learn to manage your assessment, your digital assessment process, and take your learners on a journey through the process. Don't assume that your admins and your internal moderators and your assessors understand technology, and don't assume that they want to go digital. We will always say to our new clients that come on board, if you come on board, you want to review your contract with your assessors. If it's not done in the platform, if it's not done digitally, then it's not done, because that's what then doubles up your admin's works and doubles up people's work when they have to track it on 2 different places, and things grow from there. Right. So here's the process of training. Pretty much it's a simple process of assessment and kind of who's involved and what's going to happen. So you start off with your batch registrations. The learner's role in this is to send the training provider or the professional body or the business, whoever they want to gain the reward from, or award or recognition, and they pay for training. So I'm registering, I filled out your registration form, I'm paying for training. Everybody knows that. Most learners are comfortable with that. All their companies pay for them, but they're used to that part of the process. They've bought stuff before, they've filled out forms before. If they've got an ID document, they've had to fill out a form. It's quite a comfortable process for them. Most training providers are comfortable with the batch registration. Maybe not comfortable, but they do it with the SETAs. Yet, if they don't do it often enough, sometimes they forget the methodology around it. And this causes a bit of frustration in the e-assessment space. However, this is the first step of the process that the learners are used to. The step you've now got to consider introducing into your process, if you're not doing it yet, is the digital onboarding. In the digital onboarding, use the tech that's going to be used. Don't tell them about the tech in a printed folder that they can see pictures. That's not so exciting. Let them actually physically use the tech that you want them to use. My recommendation is that the digital onboarding, get your learners to sign the pre-assessment meeting, which is a legal document saying that they know what they're being assessed against, and get your learners at this point to check that all the documents are loaded, because you require a CV, an ID, a previous qualification. You're trying to track it on an Excel spreadsheet somewhere. You've got to put those into a folder somewhere. Some people prefer to put folders learner-based. Other prefer to put it CV, ID-based. There's so many ways to do it. So whichever way you do it, at the digital onboarding, the learners have given you their stuff at registration, or some of the stuff, or the ID wasn't very clear, or the certification date wasn't correct, or there's always problems with the content, with the actual scenario. So you want this to be a smooth process. At the digital onboarding, if you can get the learners to submit new evidence. So guys and girls, you guys had poorly photographed IDs. Take another photograph and submit it. You're teaching them how to build a portfolio digitally and how to submit it digitally before the training starts on the platform that you want to use, and you're getting all your information updated correctly, the names, the spelling, the IDs. I mean, the amount of times people get put an 8 instead of a 0, or a 3 instead of a 5, or admins capture things incorrectly, which is understandable if you're doing 50 to 100 learners in a month, or in every 2 months. These mistakes pop up. This is a very good point in your journey where the learners are involved in the process while they're learning how to build an e-portfolio, and while they're learning how to engage in the process. You then go into training and digital usage, sign attendance registers, load portfolios, you work with them. Feedback loops, so the learners receive assessor feedback, and they complete remediations. And now it's very interesting you might have an assessment plan, but you've actually got to follow your assessment plan. So we have scenarios where we're following up with the learners going, oh, it's your week for assessment. And the client goes, oh, no, stop. We're not going to assess this week, but your plan says they must. Yeah, but the assessor's off sick, or this is not happening. Okay, so have you told the learners? No, we haven't told the learner. It's all about communication. Things happen. How do you keep them involved? And the learners are involved at each of these steps, whether you tell them or not. It's just how you told them builds the credibility. And then the last step in the process is the result steps. And basically, these are what the learners take to the workplace. By enabling a digitized experience for the learners, they're no longer just taking a certificate, or a certificate of attendance, or a qualification from services SETA. They're now taking that with a digitized portfolio, or proof or evidence of their skill, and that gives them the opportunity of growing either within a company, full-time employment, or moving into gig economy, with the sites like Upwork, where they can get digital work, or even just through friends and people and family as well. So here's this process of assessment, and how it kicks in, or a process of involvement. Okay, let's have a look. Agnes, if you're around, would you mind bringing your question? Because you had your hand up. So I just want to give you a quick moment to let you bring it in.
She said she's coming back, so I think
Okay.
she wanted to let us know. But there is oh, she's back. But there is a question from Stephen.
Okay.
He's asking, how do you unpack and build a digital portfolio from a QCTO qualification?
Oh, such a good question. So the beauty of, that's actually my next point. Great point. What the QCTO has done is they've taken the legacy qualifications, which were the SOs and the AC. So you had specific outcomes and assessment criteria. And assessment criteria used words like demonstrate, prove, show, explain. And my recommendation is go back to Bloom's taxonomy. It's really, really good, Bloom's, because he explains what the words are, what the verbs are. Now, the QCTO have gone on a journey where they, instead of SOs, they have KM, or instead of unit standards, they have knowledge modules, practical modules, and workplace modules. And within those, so those are like, kind of, you have those unit standards, or those standards in them. And within the unit standards, you have assessment criteria. What you want to do is one of two things. And Steve, I'll send you the last month's recordings. We spoke about, building your alignment matrices. What you want to do is, first of all, you want to understand what your program is about. And you want to understand what the learners got to be able to do at the end of the program. So if the learner's competent at the end of this program, what do we want them to be able to do? We want them to be able to do a strat plan, build a project plan and implement it. We want them to be able to service a customer at a bank teller. We want them to, what does they must be able to do? Once you know what they must be able to do, you want to then go to the question of, okay, if they were doing this, what would a portfolio look like? What evidence would I want to be able to, if I'm an assessor and I look at this evidence, what must be there to prove that I can serve a cup of coffee? Well, if I want to serve a cup of coffee, I'd like a waiter to video themselves serving. I'd like to see it. And I can't get into their workplace. I can't, we're not allowed in. We can't do observation. I can do an observation checklist, but that's just a manager ticking a whole bunch of things off. I don't know if the learner can actually do it. So what would I want? Once you know what that is, you've got to then understand your industry and go, is that too far a swing? So I'll give you an example. We work with firefighters, and their role, they're very good at putting the wet stuff on the hot stuff. Now we want them to do a video of them putting the wet stuff on the hot stuff, and everybody falls apart. Video, bad choice of evidence for that, which we've come to learn, and not effective yet. We'll get there, but not yet. Once you know your portfolios, then you can go back to the alignment or to the KM, PM, and WM modules. And when you read the way that they're written, they are written with the type of evidence that you should be assessing. So if it's a demonstration, it's no good asking them a question going, tell me, what is the process of serving a customer? Because that's not demonstration, that's explain. When you know it's demonstration, you go, oh, this is linked to our video evidence. And then later on it says, show. Oh, one video, 2 of the PM modules, and 1 WM module. Great. And you can start aligning your portfolio's evidence to the KM, PM, and WM layouts. Once you've done that, you'll see where the gaps are. And you go, okay, the QCTO are also looking for these 3 things. Do I cover these in my program? Yes, I do. There, and there. Oh, I never thought about that as a portfolio. And then you kind of build your portfolios from there. Once you have your portfolio laid out, and it's always best not to do it in isolation, but then my recommendation is take it to industry and go, listen, this is what the portfolio is going to look like. Would this be of value to you? Would you hire someone if they can demonstrate and show you this kind of stuff? And maybe not hire them, but would you at least be more interested in the interview than them just arriving with a piece of paper? What would you like to see different? Industry tells you what they're looking for, and you alter your portfolio so that you're giving industry or business what they want, but you're also then ticking the QCTO box because you've gone through their KM, PM, WM modules, and that alignment matrix ties up. All right. So, Steve, I hope that's helped. I will send you, Steve, and so Bali, if you can remind me, because I don't have notes in front of me, I'll send you last month's discussion around the alignment matrices and how to build an alignment matrix. And it's a video, and you can have a look at that as well and see how that works. All right. I hope that answers your question. All right. Last 5 minutes. Okay. I'll just answer the first one. A well laid out portfolio. Defined evidence. Agnes, hi. Go for it.
Hi, Darren. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
I'm okay. Yes. 2 speakers who asked questions. They met with my requirement of the answers. And right now, I'm just going to ask one question about developing a qualification, whether it's a skill program or whether it's part or full qualification or yes, full qualification, skill, and then part qualification. Do you have, after the learner shall have achieved the learning and after the feedback, who is supposed to build a portfolio of evidence? Are the learners supposed to, like, for instance, if you ask them to show evidence of how they came up with their matrix alignment, so must they explain in writing on the portfolio of evidence? Is that what you asking for?
Okay, so simply, your question is a kind of a double question. The training provider, the provider who gets accredited to offer the qualification, yes, they design, yes, the alignment matrix. Only them. They design it. They design the alignment matrix, and they design the portfolio of evidence requirements. Full stop.
Okay.
The
Okay.
learner's responsibility is to build evidence to prove that they can do the alignment matrix. So the learner doesn't necessarily need to see the alignment matrix unless you want to show them. That's why I'm saying if you design a good portfolio of evidence, you don't need to worry about the line and align it well. The assessor only needs to see the portfolio of evidence to be satisfied that it's aligned to the matrix. And this is where most training providers fall short, because their alignment matrices are not incredibly well done, or they've bought a qualification off the shelf that already has an alignment matrix. They have no idea what it is, but they're just selling it into the market. And so at the end of the day, you're getting your knowledge, practical and workplace experience all being done by a written exam. And this is now where the problem's fallen down, because a written exam doesn't show your skill in, unless you're testing someone's skill to write an exam. Okay, learners build the portfolios to prove competence. Providers or the people who offer the accreditation build the alignment matrices, design the portfolios so that it's simple for the learner to learn, build, and submit. Okay.
One last question, Darren.
Okay.
Will you be able to put the questions that we've all posed in writing and the answers as well? Because sometimes concentration can, disrupt the memory retention.
So what's going to happen is this video is being recorded. We'll put it onto our YouTube channel, send you the link to it as well. And there's a few scripts, there's a few AI scripts going on. So we'll extract those and we'll send those off as well. Absolutely.
Oh, lovely, Darren.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Good question. So let me finish the last 2 points and then we'll go into any more Q&A. So where to from now was the question. Well laid out portfolio, upskilled and willing team. So you've got to work with your team, upskill them, show them, let them learn how to engage, let them know what your expectation is, let them know what they're in for, and continually work. And we're starting to do a lot of things with the assessors. We're starting to do a lot of work around the assessors, assisting them to upskill them, continually upskill them. There's some cool stuff coming. Keep your eyes open. Workplace integration. So you need to there's that spelling. I knew there was a spelling mistake. Sorry, and I shouldn't be telling you, but okay. Weekly digital support. You've got to remember your learners and your team, your assessors, your learners, your admins are using tech, and they forget how to use tech because they don't always use it all the time, because there isn't an end-to-end technology out there that does everything. All techs do some things, but they're primarily built for one thing, whatever they're built for. So they always lack in the other areas. And all the top tech dev companies now are developing in silos with API integrations, so that everything works together. And this is kind of what we've learned as we go. So make sure you have a strong digital support for your assessors and admins, how to use the tech, and also a strong digital support for your learners who are building the portfolios and what to do and how to do it. Notification and communication is vital. Send the stats out often in terms of the assessment process. Where are we? What's been done? Who's competent? Who's not yet competent? Who's not competent? Who's still registered? Who's been deregistered? Use those stats for your clients. It's no good you getting them and not doing anything with them. Show your clients what's going on. That's where the clients, it builds trust and they bring you more work as you go. Remember, a good tech company will grow with you. So if you need reports in a more bespoke way, or you need new functionality built, you've got to bring it to the tech guys as they build. And the last thing is post-training. So this is very, very interesting. It's called high impact projects. And I haven't tested this. I've seen this work, but I haven't tested it. And I'm wondering, SETAs have money. There is money in the National Skills Funds to invest in high impact projects. But people who get trained and then put their butt at home on a couch is not a high impact project. So if you can go and find businesses who are prepared to sign a letter of intent saying, if your learners pass this qualification with this portfolio of evidence, we will definitely hire them on a 3-month or 6-month probation at minimum wage or what have you. I think you'll start getting a lot of SETAs looking at that as high impact projects and putting grants out for that. And I think you'll get a lot of work from that. Because learners who can come on training and get placed in work are ultimately what the end goal is. So whether and that's kind of what we're looking for. So when I talk about letters of intent, it's these are high impact projects that your portfolio will do, and you will see very quickly if the business is not prepared to bring your learners on. They're just paying for it from a triple BEE perspective, or ticket a box for the SDL perspective. You'll see the value of your content to the business very quickly based on if they're prepared to go this route. And then you got to decide what you want to do. So no, it's okay. We're getting 100 learners a year. We're making money. The business ticking boxes are all good to go. Sorry for the learners. Or if your model's going, no, I want to let them 10 because I can place these learners. And then you'll start seeing the value of your content and your assessment processes. E-portfolios, recruitment agents, every recruitment agent offers the same thing in a different way. It's all the same thing. And 9 times out of 10, it's a case of take a video of yourself and tell me how cool you are. I'm so cool. And everybody has videos, but you have an opportunity here to partner with recruitment agents going, here is a portfolio of evidence that demonstrates the skills of the learner, not just the fact that they passed the test. And you'll start getting a lot more traction. I believe you'll start shifting, you'll be able to scale as training providers. It works the same with designations and professional bodies. It works the same, if you're doing, firefighting or coaching, sports coaching, or, just because you went to a conference doesn't mean you learned something. So well done. You get 10 CPD points for going for a conference and sitting there. Can you apply what you learned at the conference? Well, right now, no one really cares. That will probably start changing into the near future where you can trade. I didn't go to a conference. I did some micro learning via YouTube and I'm applying new skills. I want 10 CPD points for that. You'll probably start seeing this emerge as well, or even competencies. So your learner might go to a recruitment agent going, oh, I'm coming as a business analyst. And the recruitment agent goes, well, what course did you do? Oh, I did, the QCTO level 6, business analyst course. And the recruitment agent might go, that's great. Here's a list of competencies that we want the learner to be able to do. Can you please align that? What you can then do is align your e-portfolio to the list of competencies. And then say the recruitment agent, based on this portfolio, check, this learner does the following 5 competencies. Because if your company is placing learners in business, I promise you learners are going to come to your company, to what you do. Right. Okay, so for those who have who are asking, who have a topic for discussion, please also just drop that topic into the chat quickly. You'll get an opportunity to via the email as well to send your topic. But you can just drop that into the chat room in the meantime. Stephen, I am looking out for your question. Okay. Okay, I'm going to end this poll. Okay, I'm going to send out one more poll. Quickly just asking how you enjoyed the session. Go back. How did you enjoy the session? Cool. And while we do that,